I'm Chris Schneider, sports director for CBS Radio in Dallas and the Texas State Networks. Like most guys in the world today, I'm a big sports fan. Doesn't matter if it's football, basketball, baseball, hockey, Olympics, racing, whatever, I like sports. Most of all, I like it when my team wins. Now, I've never interviewed a single athlete who played his heart out for second place. Athletes, at least the good ones, play for just one thing: to win. You've heard the quote, winning isn't everything, it's the only thing, right? Most guys think Vince Lombardi came up with that, but actually it was Henry Russell Red Sanders, coach of the UCLA Bruins, who said that at a physical education workshop in 1950. Oh, Lombardi did tell that to the Green Bay Packers, but that was 9 years later. Now, whether you're a sports fan or not, whether you watch every NASCAR or Indy race of the season or not, whether you know it or not, we're all in a race, and winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. Let's take a trip out to Texas Motor Speedway, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. We just came down that straightaway at over 160 miles an hour. You talk about rush hour. I did this several years ago with NASCAR champion Tony Stewart. Today I'm doing it with Mike Starr, owner of Team Texas Driving School. Now, if this were a real race and Mike here was about to win, he'd be looking for just one thing: the checkered flag. Like the zero on the clock at a football or basketball game, the checkered flag marks the end of a race. But what race are we in, and how do we win it? The race is life itself, and the finish line is death. Gives a whole new meaning to time running out, doesn't it? When you die, life as you've known it will end. But it won't be the end, it will be the beginning of eternity. Jesus had a friend named Lazarus. He became ill and died. And when Jesus arrived at the home of Mary and Martha, Martha ran out to meet him and said, "Lord, if you'd been here, my brother would not have died." Jesus would later say, "I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die." So you see that death is the beginning of life without end. That's winning the race. But what about the time between now and when your finish line arrives? Are you going to be a loner or a team player? But what about the time between now and when your finish line arrives? Are you going to be a loner or a team player? In my world, there are individual sports and team sports. Some guys like to do it all on their own. They like the idea of not having to depend on anybody else. It's all on them. Either they get all the glory or the agony of defeat. That's why they compete in individual sports like boxing, wrestling, tennis, golf, or skiing. But there are some sports you just can't play by yourself. Imagine snapping the ball to yourself with 11 defenders bearing down on you, or fielding every hit after throwing every pitch, or lining up for a face-off with an empty net behind you and 5 skaters with sticks and a goalie in front of you. You just can't play team sports by yourself. And the celebrations, they're a little different too. A golfer might pump his fist after sinking a long putt. A boxer might climb the ropes when the ref holds his hand up as a winner. But I'm sorry, individual celebrations don't hold a candle to team celebrations. For a few minutes, grown men recapture pure joys they experienced as kids. Many think racing is an individual sport. After all, there's only one driver in the car, right? But even the greatest drivers couldn't be the first to cross the finish line and take the checkered flag if they didn't have a pit crew changing tires, pouring gas, and straightening out a few dents. I think of all the sports I've covered, auto racing comes the closest to being like the church, your church. That sounds like something Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 12. For just as the body is one and has many members, and all of the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For in one Spirit we were all baptized into one body. That kind of sounds like a football team, doesn't it? It would have been hard for the New York Giants to win Super Bowl 46 in Indianapolis if every member of the team was an Eli Manning. I'm sure Patriot defensive end Sean Ellis and Mark Anderson would have loved lining up against comparatively little Eli instead of 6'5", 319-pound David Deal. The Apostle Paul goes on to tell us, "The eye cannot say to the hand, 'I have no need of you,' nor again the head to the feet, 'I have no need of you.' On the contrary, the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable." A team never wins a title on the strength of just one player, no matter how good that player is. Jimmy Johnson did something no NASCAR driver has ever done, winning 5 straight Cup titles. But he'll be the first to tell you that he couldn't have done it without his spotter, his crew chief, his pit crew, and his owner. No big-name star would have made it without the grunts who held the line, set the pick, made the pass, or got on base in front of him. Paul was thinking of guys like that when he wrote, "God has so composed the body, giving greater honor to the part that lacked it, that there may be no division in the body, but that the members may have the same care for one another. If one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together." Too often, we think of our Christian life as an individual sport, like Paul comparing our Christian life to boxing. "I do not box as one beating the air," or "Do you not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize? Run in such a way as to get the prize." But Christianity is a team sport. It's the way God designed it. So why do we keep getting wrapped up in our own struggles and think we have to do it all on our own, all the while never noticing the team that God has placed around us? We'll take a closer look at that in session 2, but for now, you go to the discussion guide and I'll keep going in circles.